Hi, good evening, all of you. Hi, good evening, all of you, and hope you are able to view the screen. Hope you are able to view me, and you are able to get my voice. You are able to listen me. Okay. So let us start our today's discussion about pharmaceutical quality system. Okay. So now point is the same question again I will ask, why we are discussing this training today, or why we are discussing this topic today. The reason is, if you evaluate the system, different system like production system, the labeling system, packaging system, so many systems are there, laboratory systems. The pharmaceutical quality system is a mandatory system to audit during the any inspection, and most of the companies they lack to focus on this aspect, that which is related to the pharmaceutical quality system. So we are here to discuss about the pharmaceutical quality system requirements, and where the most of the companies are lacking, that also we will discuss today. So with this short brief or short discussion, we will start our training on this topic. Before moving ahead, I just want to request you that if you have any questions, please put your questions in the chat box, so that I will reply to your all questions at the end of the training session. So without wasting time, let us start our today's discussion on pharmaceutical quality system. My name is Hitendra Kumar Shah. I am a CGMP compliance consultant, trainer and auditor from NADH plus GXP compliance services. So without wasting time, let us move ahead. And what we are going to discuss today? So this is what the agenda we are going to discuss today. So we will discuss about some importance of the topic and the agenda. And after discussion of the agenda, we will have a couple of slides. 2-3 slides are there with respect to the CV of the trainer. Means my CV. Again, I am just explaining you that why it is required to put a CV in the presentation. The reason is, many companies consider this training as an external training program, so they need to have a CV of a trainer. So that is the reason I am putting here in my in the presentation only. If you need a copy of the training presentation, you just put a comment in the comment section, so that at the end of the training session I will share the link, and from the link you will able to download the training presentation. So today is the 10th of February, so I am discussing this training today. So the link will be available for only couple of days. So if you are attending the recorded version of this training, so I may not able to share you the training presentation. So please attend the training sessions where I am having a live training session. That is more beneficial to all of you. We will discuss about understanding the different guidelines that different guidelines like ICH guideline, UGMP and other guidelines with respect to this topic. Then we will discuss about what are the objectives of ICH Q10. Basically, ICH Q10 guideline is for the pharmaceutical quality system. So what are the what are the different what are the different ICH Q10 objectives are there, that we will discuss. Then the life cycle approach, what is the exact meaning of the life cycle approach, that we will discuss about this training session. We will discuss about the management responsibility. So most of the company they lack this type of document, or you can say the responsibilities of management are not clearly defined, and they get the observation. So that is what I just want to discuss with you, all the people, right? We will discuss about the elements of pharmaceutical quality systems. So what are the elements, different elements of pharmaceutical quality systems, that we will discuss. And then after discussion of the elements, there is some key message I want to share with you about this PQS. Short form is pharmaceutical quality system, short form is PQS. And after that there will be the question answer session and vote of thanks. Okay, so let us start our discussion on this topic further. Okay, and I think Mr. Jagat Gamer, I think he become the member of YouTube membership program. Great, thank you so much. Jagat. So this is the brief about my CV. I am having more than 23 years of experience, and this is a brief about me. My name is Hitendra Kumar Shah. I am a CGMP compliance consultant and auditor from NADH plus GXP compliance services, and I have audited more than 500 sites till date, and now also I am supporting so many companies for different gap audits or different compliance supports I am providing to many pharmaceutical companies. So this is a brief about my CV. I am not um, putting more time, or you can say I am very fast when I am discussing with the CV, because it is just a formal thing. So that is the reason I want to put more time here. These are the some companies where I work. I started my career with the Sun Pharmaceuticals. Then I work in a Blue Cross Laboratories. I work in Alembic Pharma. I was a compliance head in Zadas Cadilla. I work as a quality head in US Vitamins. I work in multinationals also, which includes AstraZeneca, Sanofi, Mylan. These are my major work experience. Okay. And now let us start our discussion. And before discussing, this is just one disclaimer. Why I am putting this disclaimer? Because today is 10th of February. Whatever I am discussing, this is as per the current guideline requirement today. There may be a possibility that the guideline may get revised after maybe a couple of months or couple of years. We don't know. So I always request all people to refer this training session as a learning purpose only. If you want to implement it, then you need to refer the current guideline, and you need to follow your you need to evaluate your internal systems. Because what happened, you may have some alternate systems, like you may have some automated systems, or you may have some other systems. So that need to be evaluated before implementation of the all the guideline requirements. Okay, so my point is, if you want to implement it, you can refer the current guideline only. Okay, so consider this as a only the learning purpose or learning platform. So let us start our today's discussion with the ICH Q10 objectives. Okay, so again, before start of the training session, I request all people that if you have any questions, you can put in the chat box, so that at the end of the training session, I will solve your all doubts. Okay, so let us start with the ICH Q10 objective. So there are some objectives of ICH Q10 guideline. So what are the objectives? We will start discussing on these objectives. Okay, so achieve product realization. See, my point is, don't bother about the words. Okay, please understand this point. Don't bother about the words. Please bother about what is content in that. These are the headlines in the guidelines. So I put here so as to ensure the harmonize between the guideline and my presentation. Okay. So if you need any copy of the presentation, you please put your comment in the comment section. I will share a link. From that link, you will able to download the training presentation. Correct? So what I was telling is that don't bother about the wordings like achieve product realization and all. Main point is we have to focus on the content. What is there? So what is the content? What is expected, or what is the objective of the ICH Q10 guideline is to establish and implement and maintain a system that allows the delivery of a product with the quality attributes appropriate to meet the needs of the patient, healthcare professional, regulatory authorities and all. And of course the customers. This is the expectation. Simple words, what is the objective of the ICH Q10 is you need to establish, implement and maintain a system so that you will ensure that the delivery of the product complying to the quality specifications. I am making in a simple language, right? Quality specifications, so that it will be suitable for the patients or healthcare professionals or regulatory authorities. Then when we are discussing about the regulatory authorities, ICH Q10 objective is with respect to regulatory authorities means compliance with approved regulatory filings also. So here the point is not only limited to the manufacturing area or manufacturing unit, but it is respect to the regulatory affairs department, where they need to comply to the regulatory filings also. This is the objective of ICH Q10. Hope you are with me. The second objective is establish and maintain a state of control. So once you implement it, correct, we implement it, right? In the first slide you got my point, implement the system, right? So we have to establish and maintain the system to control it. Means what? To develop and use effective monitoring and control system for the process performance and product quality. You're getting my point? So you need to develop the use of effective monitoring and control system. This is what is mentioned here. Means what? You have to put some controls during the manufacturing of the product to monitor the process performance and product quality. In simple language, means you can implement the in-process inspections, you can implement the in-process checks, you can implement some controls like line clearance. All the points you have to implement as a expectation of ICH Q10. Okay, and that is under the heading that establish and maintain a state of control. Why it is required? Because there will be continuous variations, variabilities will be there in the process, product, the equipments and the materials. So to control these variabilities, this is very, very important, and this is the expectation of ICH Q10 and that is the reason I am discussing this point here. Now I am just connecting the different the expectations of a ICH Q10 now. Okay, so here what we are discussing that you have to develop and use the system so as to monitor the process performance and product quality. Means what? You have to put some different controls during the process, correct? Why? To control the variability. Now this is very old expectation of ICH Q10, but still the expectation is to control the variability. Variability means to control the deviations, unplanned deviations, unplanned departures. That is the purpose of this objective. Third point, where most of the company fail to comply. I am very clear, my dear friends. Please understand this point. Third point, third objective of ICH Q10. Most of the companies fail to comply. And that is what the regulatory authorities or regulatory inspectors are more focusing on this aspect. What is the aspect? Facilitate continual improvement. The point is here, I'll just go through this content, then I will explain you in a simple language. Okay, that is okay? To identify and implement appropriate quality improvements, process improvements, variability reductions, innovations, and pharmaceutical quality system enhancements, thereby increasing the ability to fulfill the quality needs consistently. Now here, always when you read this headline, facilitate continual improvement, what is the objective of ICH Q10 or what is the expectation is that always the efforts should be there. The efforts should be there to improve the quality, of the product with respect to the quality of the product improvement or the reducing the variability. Hope you know the variability. You know what I mean by variability, right? Variability means the small deviations, small departures which you may not able to detect. See, for example, if you are purchasing the raw materials from the outside vendors, you are having suppose 100 lots you received from the vendor, you received the 100 lots, but there will be slight variations. That is the reason you are having some variations in the assay or potency value of the different lots. There will be variations in the impurity level, there will be variations in moisture content or loss on drying in the different lots. Why it is there? The reason is there is some small, you can say, the departure from the procedure during manufacturing of that material, which may be due to the input materials, which may be due to the process followed, which may be due to the slight you can say variation in the manufacturing process, of course within the established parameters, which may be due to the equipment on prolonged use. So many parameters are there. Due to that, the variability will be possible. So you have to put some a continuous improvement. So my point is, when there will be the inspections, any company inspections, the main focus of the regulatory inspectors are, is there any improvements are there in the company organization or not. That is what it is looked here. So you need to have the all the things with respect to the improvements in the process improvement, variability reduction, some innovations in the pharmaceutical quality system enhancements. Okay, so this is what the expectation behind this continual improvement. Hope you got my point. Now you will ask me that how the pharmaceutical quality system enhancement is possible, because once SOP is there, like deviation, change control, CAPA, corrective and preventive action, right? So what it is, the expectations are very clear. We have to follow it. There will be the format, we need to follow it. So what enhancements? So there are a lot of aspects are there with respect to the enhancements. For example, the one aspect may be, moving from paper based to the paperless documentation. Second, interconnection of a one document to the another document. Like for example, if you have a training computerized system and you have the computerized system of deviations, so can you harmonize this training and deviations, or attendance system and training? There are continuous, the improvements are possible to upgrade the systems. So you need to have that practice. Some companies I've been seen, and it is really good that they have the procedure for continuous improvement in the organization. Now you will say, what is this new thing? Continuous improvement procedure, why it is required? Correct? Because point I will tell you, then you will come to know the advantage or benefits of the procedure of continuous improvement. So many companies, they have the SOP or procedure of a continued continuous improvement plan, CCP, something like that. So what is the benefit is, whatever you have an idea to implement it or to improve it, immediately change management may not be followed. First you need to take the approval from management, you need to take these points to the management review meeting, need to take a approval, and then it will be evaluated, then it will be approved, and then you need to raise the change management and all. So then it will be in the QMS system. But the point is, these ideas or the good ideas about the improvements sometimes may not be implemented, considering some the practical problems or time beings. There may be some discussion that this point we can implement, but we can implement maybe after 6 months or after the next budget approval. So how the people will remember this improvement plan? Everybody will forget it. So if you record in that, as per that SOP, if you record it, so that if the person who suggested this improvement plan, if he or she is not working in the organization also, still that will be the part of the quality system, and maybe it can be considered during the next management review or maybe the next budget, and further you can further follow up with the management about this plan. That is the benefit of this continuous improvement plan. So many companies implemented this. Second thing, what happened, when you give the compliance, when you give compliance to the regulatory inspections or the customer audits and all, there will be a lot of action plans will be there. So when you identify that there are some action plans and all, in addition to that, you need to put some continuous improvement plan. Why? The reason is, sometimes what happened, the action plan will be prepared considering the short-term actions, short-term CAPA. But there may be some long-term CAPA. But that long-term CAPA you may not be implement today, and also you may not able to commit to the regulatory agency immediately on that basis. So the point is, to comply your own manufacturing side, that long-term CAPA is also important or need to be implemented. Maybe not today, but after maybe the 2 months or 3 months or 6 months. So that long-term CAPA also you can record in a continuous improvement plan procedure. Hope you got my point. So most of the companies lack this continuous improvement object to comply the continuous improvement objective. So that is the reason I discussed here. Okay, hope you are clear with this. Okay. Now let us discuss about the life cycle goals requirement or expectation behind the pharmaceutical quality system. Life cycle goals. Let me tell you, my dear friends, that these life cycle expectations are for all the things. Life cycle approach for validations, qualifications, you can say the product, documentation, everywhere. So what is the meaning of a life cycle goal? That is explained here. So let us discuss about the life cycle goals. And the first point with respect to the life cycle goal is the pharmaceutical development. Hope slides are visible to all of you. And again, I am telling you, I am making it in a very simple language to make you aware in a easy language. Still, if you have any questions, you can put your questions in the chat box. I will reply you at the end of this training session. And if you need any training material or training presentation copy, that also you can put in the training presentation, in the chat box, sorry. So, drug substance, drug product development, development of a delivery system, manufacture of investigational product, manufacturing process development, scale up, analytical method development, these all are covered under the pharmaceutical development. So many companies, they consider that pharmaceutical development means only with respect to the formulation development. It is not like that. Okay, because in the drug substance development or API development, the companies use the different terminology like chemical synthesis or some other names are used, or synthetic synthesis, R&D, something like that, terminologies are used. But overall, these are all the pharmaceutical purpose, and so these all are considered as the life cycle goal, which starts with the pharmaceutical development. You just understand this point, then I will explain you that how it can be implemented. Okay, so please be with me up to the end of the session. Second is technology transfer. So you are aware about that once the product is developed, you need to do the technology transfer. So what is the meaning of this? It is mentioned here in the last three lines. Transfer the product process knowledge between development and manufacturing, and within or between the manufacturing and testing site is nothing but the technology transfer. Correct? Hope you are aware about this. If you have further more questions about the technology transfer, don't worry. I will share you the separate training session on the technology transfer. There are different stages of a technology transfers and all. There are different meetings and what are the different stages of a technology transfer, that all will be discussed. Okay. Commercial manufacturing. So once technology transfer is done, then commercial manufacturing means what? Acquisition and control of the material, provision of facilities, utilities, equipments, production. Production means, of course, when you consider production, that means manufacturing, packing, labeling, everything. Okay, then you will say the storage and all correct. Quality control and quality assurance, release, storage and distribution, means these are all considered as a commercial manufacturing. Okay, and fourth is the product discontinuation. So retention of documentation, sample retention, continued process assessment and reporting is considered as under the product discontinuation. So what is meant by life cycle goal is whatever you consider any point, maybe process validation, maybe cleaning validation, you have to consider from the first stage, means development, technology transfer, commercial manufacturing and product continuation. I will give simple example, you will understand in a better way. Suppose now let us say the example of a life cycle goal of equipment, right? Equipment. So when you are thinking about the life cycle goal of the equipment which is used for pharmaceutical manufacturing, you have to ensure that it is developed in a correct way, or fabricated or manufactured in a correct way. Then transfer of the equipment with its technology, with its knowledge, information in a correct way, in the in the manufacturing side, then we can use that equipment for commercial manufacturing and up to the end where the equipment will be used, correct? So what is meant by life cycle goal for that particular equipment is when the equipment is developed by the vendor or manufacturer, the performance of the equipment should be same when it is manufactured, then when it is transferred to the manufacturing site, when it is used for the commercial manufacturing, and up to the up to the last day of that equipment, where at up to that when the equipment will be being used. You got my point? That is called a life cycle goal or life cycle approach. You need to follow or implement this life cycle approach everywhere. While performing the quality risk management, you have to follow the consider the life cycle approach. While performing the process validation, you have to follow the life cycle approach. And that is the reason for process validation, you may be aware about the requirement of a continued process verification. What does it mean? Continuously you need to ensure the process, correct? Just correlate the guideline, this requirement to the other guidelines, then you will have a more clarity about this requirement. Okay, everyone is with me, right? So now the next point, what we will discuss about the quality manual. Most of the company, they have the quality manual, they prepare the quality manual, but it is not much used in any audits and all. But the parts of the quality manual are always auditable, and most of the company lack to comply these requirements. So I am here to clarify all these requirements today. So basically, first is what? Quality policy should be there, correct? Then the scope of the pharmaceutical quality system, identification of the pharmaceutical quality system processes as well as their sequences, linkages, interdependency, process maps, flow charts. These can be used in the pharmaceutical quality processes as a visual manner. And management responsibility, these 4 points should be the part of quality manual, right? So what should be the part of quality manual? Quality policy, scope of a pharmaceutical quality system, and all the quality system information processes like deviations. So how deviation is followed, you can make a flow chart, how the change control is followed, how the CAPA is followed, all the process maps or flow charts you can put it, and there should be the management responsibility. Most of the company lack the documentation about the management responsibility. Of course, where the companies are having the ISO approval and all, they have the management responsibilities in a different format. But in the GMP format or GMP context, you need to have a management responsibility written and signed by the management. Most of the company lack this. Second thing, with respect to the quality policy, now I will explain you where people are lacking or most of the companies lack. Okay, so okay, after this okay, so quality policy, you can go further the second point here, then I will discuss about the first point. Okay, so quality policy is what? Establish the regulatory requirements, right? Establish regulatory requirements, continual improvement, communicated and periodically reviewed. These are the requirements of a quality policy. So you need to establish the quality policy. It should be in line with the regulatory requirements. It should ensure the continual improvement. So whenever you read the quality policy, you have to focus, you have to mention that the organization focused on a continual improvement. The continual improvement should be considered in the quality policy. So if your quality policy is not having this continuous improvement requirement, then your quality policy is not complete. Now, second is what? Communicated and periodically reviewed. This is also the key point, and most of the company lack this requirement. Again, I am telling you, communicated and periodically reviewed. If you have any questions, even you can refer the ICH Q10 guideline also. What is the expectation? Quality policy should be communicated to all the employees and it should be periodically reviewed. What does it mean? you need to have a formal procedure to communicate. Sorry. Sorry. You need to have a formal procedure to communicate this quality policy to all the people. Just like how you have the procedure of a GMP training to all the employees or all the staff, right? Same way, you need to have a formal procedure to communicate the quality policy to all the company employees. How you can communicate, it depends on you. For example, you can prepare display the quality policy in the quality control laboratory entrance, production entrance, warehouse entrance, conference, so that everyone will go and they will go and read the quality policy. Second, you can print in a nice format, and you can issue the booklet of a quality policy and some guidelines along with that to the people when the persons are joining. You decide, or you consider the quality policy as a part of your routine GMP training program so that they are communicated to all people. You decide how you need to develop, but this is the question by many inspectors, that how you communicate the quality policy to all your employees. Second is periodically reviewed. When we see the quality policy, it may be signed about the 2000 year 2000 or year 2002, and today it is running 2024. It is not allowed. The quality policy should be periodically reviewed. So first of all, the quality policy should have the date, and in your internal SOP for quality policy, you need to develop the periodic revision period for quality policy. Many companies lack this point, so I am discussing this point again and again. Please understand this point. Management commitment. Ultimate responsibility to ensure the effective PQS is a management commitment, correct? Quality planning. Define quality objective for implementing the quality policy and performance indicators. Performance indicator should be defined in the organization. Performance indicator should be clear and measurable. It should not be non-practical. It should be practical, clear and measurable. Okay, so that performance indicators you have to develop it. Resource management. Determine and provide adequate and appropriate resources which are appropriately applied to product, process or site. This is really a key requirement about the resource management. And many companies, they lack or they fail to evaluate whether they have the adequate and appropriate resources. You can read these last two lines. Adequate and appropriate resources. Most of the company could not able to identify whether they have the adequate and appropriate resources or not. I will give an example so that you will get you will get a more idea about this. In one of the company, what happened, there was an inspection, and the inspector, the company, the auditee presented a very good presentation to the FDA. I'm thinking FDA. So what happened, when the inspection was in the inspection slides, in the the welcome slides, or you can say the introduction slides, one slide was the changes since last 24 months. Okay, changes since last inspection. That was the one slide, and it was presented in the slide that what are the changes. So there were 2 additional departments are added, means manufacturing units are added. Further, there was additional the some more than 20 products something are developed and they are launched, and additionally they implemented some other activities and all. So these are all the points are were there in the changes since last inspection. Then simply auditor asks the previous version of a site master file. The auditor asks that I want to see the previous version of a site master file, and just compare the people, employee list, employee details, number of employees, previous site master file and the current site master file. There was no any increase, hardly even 2-3 people were less than the previous last 2 years. Then the question is, you added 2 different manufacturing areas, you added a new equipments, you launched a more minimum about 20 products. So if you are launching the 20 product, there will be a lot of stability study, lot of validations, lot of studies, lot of documentations. You have a new equipment, new facility, two new units, still you have the same manpower. That indicates that you don't have the adequate or appropriate resources. And as you don't have the adequate or appropriate resources, there may be possibility that the data generated may not be complying to the data integrity requirements, or there may be possibility of a manual possibility of a falsification or manipulation. So that thought come in the inspector's mind. And when the inspector started auditing the company, in that company always when document is displayed, shared, any batch record is shared, any operation is observed, any validation is studied, while review of every document, the inspector was considering, that is there any data integrity, is there any error, that is there any falsification, is there any manipulation. That was only the thought the inspector was having, because he prepared his mind that there may be possibility of a falsification or a manipulation. And with that thought only he started the focusing on the inspection. Understand these points are very important. So this resource management are very, very important. This is what I want to share with this slide. Okay. So what are the management responsibilities? So a quick discussion about the management responsibilities, and under that, internal communication. These many companies lack this procedure. If you have a the big company or having the multiple locations and some global level companies, you need to have a procedure of internal communication. If you have only one or two units and management is frequently visiting and all, so it doesn't make sense to have a SOP on internal communication. But if you have a multiple maybe 8-10 units and management is not periodically visiting continuously and all, then you need to have an internal communication procedure. Flow of appropriate, why it is required? Because flow of appropriate information, which is appropriate and timely escalation of a quality issues is expected. So what happened, as there are multiple units and or global level management you need to inform, so you need to have SOP so that you can escalate the quality events. Okay. But if it is only one or two plants are there and management is sitting in the plant, then for you it is not much required. But it is really expected or required when you have a big companies and a big setup. Okay. Management review, management of outsource activities, purchase materials, management of a change in the product ownership. So this should be the part of the management responsibilities. So management of change in the product ownership is something different. I will not much discuss during this session. What does it mean of a management change in the product ownership? Means when there is a merger of one company, right? One company is taken over by the another company. So that time the product ownership is changed from one company to the another company, right? There are so many different mergers or acquisitions, you may be aware. So that also responsibility lies with the management. That should be the part of this management responsibility. And other are very clear: management of outsource activities, purchase materials. You are well aware about this, right? So now let us discuss about the pharmaceutical quality system elements. So what are the elements of pharmaceutical quality systems that we will discuss now? You will say why it is required. You will say why it is required. It is required because when we are discussing about the pharmaceutical quality system, you need to implement some processes, controls and all to meet the objective of a quality system. So that is the reason these elements are very, very important to discuss here. And my point is, you need to compare these requirements in your company where it is directly or indirectly associated or not. You need to just evaluate. That's it. You got my point. So now, for example, first is what? process performance and product quality monitoring system. Simple, heading is simple, means what? You need to have a system to monitor the process performance and product quality, correct? So that the process remains in the control. So what it should have? Use a quality risk management for to establish the control strategy. So when you are put the control strategy to for the process performance and product quality, you need to follow the ICH Q9 like quality risk management. Now you will say, what is this now again? I agree that you know that quality risk management, but how it will be helpful for process performance and product quality monitoring? You remember that most of the products, for API at least, you are having the risk assessment of the specific API, right? When we are auditing the API sites, each API, they are performing the risk assessment, correct? So what is the purpose of the risk assessment? That when the risk is identified that yes, this temperature parameter, if it is an increase or slightly excursion, impurity will be increased. So when they identify this as a risk, temperature parameter is a risk with respect to the product quality, then you have to put a control that yes, temperature should be monitored continuously. You got my point? So that way you have to identify the risk for the process, and for that particular risk you have to put the control strategy or a mitigation plan to control the process. You got my point? Again, I am telling you, if you have any question, please feel free to put in the comment section or chat section. Okay. Provide the tools for measurement and analysis of parameters and attributes. We need to provide the tools for measurement and analysis of parameters and attributes. Attributes means what? Specifications, whatever are there for product specification, we need to provide the tools to measure that. For example, now you will say, what are the tools? I will give simple example. Same example I will tell you, the temperature. Let us take the same example so that you will understand in a better way. So you have a display where temperature is displayed of the reaction of the temperature of the reaction is displayed on that display, correct? And as per the batch record, you are recording every 10 minutes interval. And suppose still the batch is failing in the impurity, and you know that the impurity is generated at that stage only. That means what? Whatever the display tool you provided is not suitable. So what you have to do? You have to provide some PLC, programmable logic controller, so that it will continuously monitor. And if a temperature excursion is there for even a fraction of second, there will be excursion, and you will come to know from the print of the PLC that how many times there is excursion in the temperature. Because when you are recording the in a specified frequency manually, there may be possible that in between that period there may be some excursion which you may not able to detect. So you have to identify that requirement, and based on that you have to provide the tools for measurement and analysis of parameters and attributes. Hope you understand these things. I explained this with a simple example to all of you, right? Now, second is what? Identify sources of variation for potential continuous improvement activities. Include feedback on product quality from both internal and external sources. Provide knowledge to enhance process understanding, enrich the design space, and enable innovative approaches to process validation. These are the requirements for process performance and product quality monitoring system. This is the quality system element. That is the reason hope you are aware that any regulatory inspection, they cannot be complete without auditing the process validation. And expectation is you should able to identify the sources of variations. Hope you remember now, just now I explained you about the variations. If you want to know further, you can put the comment. I will explain you further. Okay. Then feedback on product quality from both internal and external sources. So you need to have a procedure to take a feedback from internal as well as external sources and provide the knowledge to enhance the process understanding, enrich the design space, and enable innovative approaches to process validation. So you know that the process validation, there are three stages: that the process design, then process qualification, and continued process verification. So here you can see here the design is considered here. Okay, process design, because process understanding and all is considered under the process design. Then commercial manufacturing, that is the process performance, that is what here discussed. And third is the include the feedback on product quality, correct? And also it is a continual requirement, that means it is a continuous process performance, or CPP, continuous process verification. That is way, you know, it is captured the requirement under this basic GMP requirements of a pharmaceutical quality system. Please try to understand and try to correlate between the requirements of a different guidelines with respect to the your different quality requirements, right? You're getting my point, what I'm telling you, right? Second element is CAPA. CAPA, you all are aware about that. It is a corrective actions and preventive actions, right? They may result from complaints, product rejection, non-conformities, recall, deviation, audit, regulatory inspections, finding, trends from process performance, product quality monitoring, etc., etc., etc. Correct? Now, the question is here, do you have the CAPA generated from process performance or trend or product quality monitoring? Do you have any CAPA? Most of the companies or most of the people will answer to this question is no, because we don't focus on process performance, product quality monitoring. I am telling we means I am also the part of your team only, my dear friends. I am also from pharmaceutical. Okay. See, you will have the CAPA from complaints, CAPA from rejections, non-conformance, recall, deviations, and all. I agree with you. But I could not see a CAPA in most of the companies, 99%. Hardly in some one or couple of companies I got the CAPA, but most of the company, they don't have a single CAPA since last 5 years. I am telling the example in 5 years. I am not telling that every year you should have the CAPA with respect to the process performance and product quality monitoring and all, and from trained and all. Not required, may not be required also, or may not be even they may be them perfectly trained and all will be perfect and all. So CAPA may not be needed. I am not telling that every year you should have, but at least you need to evaluate since last 5 years and all. Is there in a single CAPA which is originated from the trend? Now you will ask me that how? If suppose, simple question I will ask you. If you got the complaint, you take a CAPA, right? After implementation of CAPA, again you got a similar complaint. After that you got again a similar complaint. Means you have a repeat complaint. So there may be possibility that either CAPA is not effective, or CAPA is effective but not implemented, or CAPA is implemented but CAPA is not able to follow, or CAPA is not followed. That is what the reason, right? So when you perform the trend of a deviation, market complaint, you will come to know that similar type of complaints are there. Multiple complaints are there which are similar in nature. So from that trend, do you have the CAPA? Most of the companies or most of the people will answer no. Same way, if you have a deviation trend, you are preparing the deviation trend. For each deviation, you have the CAPA. But when you have the deviation trend or OS trend, do you have the CAPA? That is what the point here I am discussing here. So, and it is expected as part of the pharmaceutical quality system elements, right? The third pharmaceutical quality system element is the change management system. Change management system. So change management, you are all aware about that. Change management means what? Change control, right? It ensures the continual improvement is undertaken in a timely and effective manner. So when you are following the change control procedure, you ensure that change control is used to improvement, right? Improvement of the in the system, procedure, process, method, documents, correct? For that purpose you raise a change control and you change the process or document or system, correct? And why you follow the change control? You need to continuous improve in this all the things like process, system, document, method, all the things, but and it should be timely manner. So you put some time period, and if that time period is not respected, then you need to raise the extension from the approval by quality assurance, but you at least give the time period key, please implement within the specified period and in a effective manner. In a effective manner. Why? Because it should provide a high degree of assurance that there are no unintended consequences of the change. Means what? When you are implementing the one change, you have to ensure, you have to provide a high degree of assurance that after implementation of this particular change, it will not have a impact on some or negative impact on some other system or other method or other procedure. You got my point? So that is the expectation under the change management system. Correct? Further, you need to use quality risk management to evaluate the proposed change. So when you are following the change control system, you need to follow the quality risk management ICH Q9 to evaluate the proposed changes. Evaluate proposed changes relative to the marketing authorization and need for a change to the regulatory filing. So if it is a major change where you need to with respect to the product quality, then you need to inform to the marketing authorization or regulatory authorities. So that aspect also you should consider when you are raising the change control. And of course you have the procedure, you may be taking the impact assessment or concurrence from your regulatory department on this change control, right? Evaluate proposed changes using expert teams. This is also the very important point now. Evaluate proposed changes using expert teams. I will tell you the one case I come to know. I just check it. I was checking the change control during the inspection. I was auditing the change control, and I come to know that the the one person from production evaluated the change control, and he wrote on the change control that there is no any impact. The point is, the change control was related to the installation of a new machine used for the manufacturing purpose. He cannot just write a no impact. You got my point. And when the person's job description and training record checked, we come to know that the person was recently joined 2 months before, having no any previous experience, and he performed the impact assessment on the change control. So please understand this point. So evaluate the proposed changes using the expert teams basically. Try to make a use of a department heads for evaluation of a proposed changes. Evaluate the change after implementation. This three lines I want to put more focus here. Huh? Evaluate the change after implementation to confirm the change objectives were achieved and that there was no deleterious impact on the product quality. So now what happened here? The point is what? When we implement the change, we have to follow the change, we have to implement the change after approval, and after implementation, for specific period, we have to ensure the effectiveness of the change. Correct? and then we need to close the change. Okay. Now, there was one query by the regulatory agency that they need a revised specification. They need a revised specification. Now, the point is when change control is approved, then specification is revised. Please understand this point. The regulatory agency gave the request to the company that they need to revise the specification of particular product. So to cater that requirement, what company did? Company revised the raise the change control, revise the specification. Now the point is they cannot implement the specification, revised specification immediately unless and until the regulatory authority is approving that change. So that revised specification need to have some effective date, and that revised specification without effective date is need to share to the regulatory agency, and once it is approved, then only you can implement this change. And when you implement this change, you have to monitor whether this change is impacting some other aspect or not. You got my point? So that way you need to evaluate, that way you need to take care of this, because the effectiveness of the change is very important when you are considering the change management system. Okay, hope you all are with me. And the next is with respect to the PQS element is the management review. So now here again I am telling you that if you have any question, please put your question in the chat box. Okay, and do you need a presentation? Please put in the comment so that I can share the training presentation at the end of this session. Okay, management review. The results of regulatory inspections, finding, audits, other assessment, commitments to the regulatory authorities should be discussed in the management review meetings. Second point is what? When you are discussing about the management review, process performance, product quality, then product quality is also the part of that, correct? So product quality review or PQR, what should it contain? Minimum it should contain quality complaints, recalls, conclusion of process performance and product quality monitoring, right? Then the effectiveness of process and product changes, including those arising from CAPA, and the follow-up actions from previous management review includes the management review system should identify appropriate actions like improvement to manufacturing processes and the product, provision, training, and realignment of the resources, capture and dissemination of knowledge. This point should be considered as an action plan by the management, and of course some approvals and all can also be the part of the management review meetings. So the PQS elements, what I was telling you with respect to the product quality review, management review meetings, and here also many companies lack in the management review meeting, because management is what, when you are having the organogram and where you are writing somebody in the management, that management should be attending this management review meeting. But most of the company, what happen, there is a management, then there will be the quality head, maybe the vice president or maybe the general manager of quality, whatever, and that general manager or vice president quality is directly reporting to the management. So the company considers that general manager or the vice president quality is a management person, and that they only arrange the management meeting and all, and as a management the person's signature, put the signature. This is not acceptable. The management in the organogram who is presented as a management, that person should attend the management review meeting. That management review meeting he or she can attend from remotely also, no problem, but The point is the person should attend, who is a management, okay, not anyone or not any employee. You got my point? Because vice president, even the COO, CEO, all are the employees only of the organization. They are not the management. This is what the point I want to make you clear, right? Hope everyone is with me. And the next point with respect to the PQS is a continual improvement of the PQS. So we discuss about the elements of the PQS, pharmaceutical quality system. And now what are the expectation behind continual improvement of a quality system? That is what the point here. So what are the continual improvement aspects of PQS? Management review of the PQS, correct? That is what I was discussing with you, and it should be by the management only, not the any employer of the company. Please understand this. This is not just a paper. You know, many companies I saw that the paper is prepared, a presentation is there, and attendance is attached, and it is considered as a management review meeting. But what is the outcome of the management review meeting, and what is some improvement plans are discussed in the management review meeting? We lack in that. We lack in that. Because when we are discussing about a management review meeting, management is not only interested in, okay, these are these many complaints, these many deviations, these many rejections and all, okay. But management review meeting is not only to share this all notifications, but also the continual improvement in the pharmaceutical quality system. So what actions you need to do to reduce the OS related to the human error, and what additional support you require from management for that. So when my point is very clear, you know, I always ask many companies that, okay, can you show me a change control raised as a result of recommendation from the management review meeting? You can show me just one that particular content of the change control where you will come I will come to know that as a recommendation by the management, as a part of continual improvement, this change control is raised. Show me this. Most of the company, they have a presentation of a management review meeting, means what, a schedule and frequency, the attendance sheet, and minutes of meeting, and the training that presentation of a presentation to the management. That only it is there. It is not expected. Okay, you are complying to paper requirement, whatever the papers are generated. The point is, what is the benefit of that management review that you are not able to make a use of that? So the benefit of the management review is a continuous improvement. Hope you got my point here. Monitoring of internal and external factors impacting the pharmaceutical quality systems. This is also very important. You have to consider so many factors where the quality systems are impacted. For example, you may have some internal problem that for change control impact assessment the people may not be available, or for when you are conducting the trainings the internal teams may not be available. These are the internal problems. External problem with respect to some materials, or maybe some third party laboratories, or maybe the vendors, that due to them you are not able to comply the your pharmaceutical quality system. That all need to be discussed, and you have to put the actions to improve in that PQS. And that is the reason this third point is mentioned, that is the outcomes of management review and monitoring. This is very, very important, and that is what I was telling you. Most of the company lack this point, last 2 points. Please read this. And these are not from my words, huh? These are from the guideline. You can refer, I think, UGMP or ICH Q10, so any of the guideline I put this. So the outcome of management review and monitoring is missing in most of the management review meeting documentation. This is the expectation. Okay, you are clear with this, right? So this is the slide. I purposely put this slide so that the all PQS is considered here in one slide. Okay, so what it includes, there are the four life cycle goals like pharmaceutical development, technology transfer, commercial manufacturing, product discontinuation, and it is completely as a part of the GMP. You can see here where the investigational product are also considered, and management response. You can consider the distance, the scope of the things. So you can see the management responsibility from product development to the product discontinuation. Then you need to consider the PQS elements. What we discussed, the PQS elements: process performance and product quality monitoring system. CAPA we discussed, change management and management review. Then knowledge management and the quality risk management. So these are all the part of the pharmaceutical quality system requirements as per the different guidelines like UGMP, Euralex volume 4 chapter 1 for pharmaceutical quality system, and also the ICH Q10 guideline, and also the ISO guidelines, ISO 9000. So there are some key messages I just want to share you that many people lack in this thing. So I thought that I will discuss with you. Okay. So do you need any presentation? So you just put the comment. I will share the link on the presentation. Okay. So I see. So there are the ICH guidelines. Okay, like ICH Q8 for product development, Q9 for risk management, and Q10 for pharmaceutical quality system. And today we discuss about the ICH Q10. And you will now come to know, you understand now that quality risk management is also part of that. Product development is also part of that. So basically all these three are linked together. So all three are the linked together so as to provide a systematic, modern, risk and science-based approach to pharmaceutical manufacturing and development. So I always request all people that consider the Q8, Q9, Q10 as a common guideline. So you refer all three simultaneously. That is what my point is. Comprehensive implementation of three guidelines together is essential to achieve ICH quality vision. That is what I want to share all of you. And guidelines are applicable over entire product life cycle. So you have to consider the life cycle approach when you are referring this. Guidelines can be utilized by all stakeholders, means industry, company people who are working in the industry, as well as the company or the people who are working in the regulators, like regulatory agencies or even any other aspects of a regulatory affairs departments and all. Assessors and inspectors are expected to incorporate QRM during regulatory processes. So I always suggest that the inspectors or the auditors who assess the different processes, they need to incorporate the quality risk management when they are evaluating the processes or evaluating the products. These are my key messages with respect to this training session. Hope everyone is clear with this training session, and these are my contact details. Thank you so much for your kind attendance. Okay, I think you need some training presentation. I will share you. See, my request is, I will share the link to the training presentation. So please download it immediately. Oh, 9 o'clock. So, okay, I will quickly take your questions. Just a minute. Quality CPL is asking, hello sir, your training sessions are amazing. I am following you. Thank you. And Mr. Jagat Gamer is now our part of the membership program. So Mr. Jagat Gamer, please be in touch, because every once in every 15 days or 20 days I am sharing the certificate programs, so that I can share with you details and you can get the certificates from different requirements. Okay, so different topics I am selecting, and online training programs are there, and I will share you the link and all, so that you can get the things. Okay, so please be in touch, Mr. Jagat. This is for all my the people subscribers who are part of my membership program or YouTube program. Thank you, Mr. Jagat, once again. So Mr. Asif, Mr. Quality CPL, thank you for your kind be in touch with me. Thank you so much. Asif is asking, is there any SOP required for preparing continuous improvement plan? Yeah, I always suggest that you need to have a formal procedure to have a continuous improvement plan, so that you need to have a SOP responsibilities, and you need to have some logbook where you will able to write all those plannings, right? uh, Hope you got my point. Mr. Amos is asking, sir, you do have any training on sterile production? Yeah, I am having some training videos and all. So you please be with me. You put your question in the comment section after completion of this training. So I will share you the link to access that. Okay. Mr. Prashant Pandey, Amos is asking that need a presentation. Okay, no problem. I will share the training presentation now. Mr. Nikhil also needs the presentation. Just a minute. Okay, I will share the link. So from this link, you can download the training presentation. Please remember this link I prepared from WeTransfer. So download the training presentation as early as possible before the link get expire. Okay. Mr. Amos is asking, do you have to complete change control when you review SOP without changing any information except review date and revision number? Yes. The question is, the purpose to change the version number and review date is you need to review it to identify whether any changes are required further in the SOP or not. That need to be evaluated. And remember, my dear friend, that always there will be some changes. May not be the change related to the major changes or maybe more changes, but maybe some editorial changes may be there, some minor formatting will be there, some spell error may be there, some changes will be there in the any document what is prepared about 3 or 4 years back. Most of the periodic review by many companies is a 3 years period, right? So in 3 years there will be always changes. Like now the risk assessment guideline is revised. Earlier it was ICH Q9, now it is ICH Q9R1. So you need to verify the first of all the guideline is changed or not, expectations are changed or not, your procedures are some change or not, any editorial changes are not. So definitely there will be some changes during the periodic review. So you need to review it completely, right? Hope you got my point, Mr. Amos. Okay, I think all questions are answered, and you got the link to download the presentation. So please download as soon as possible because the link will expire in a short period. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Now I think it is already 15 minutes more, 13 minutes over. So I need to close this because I understand that today is Saturday, and you need to enjoy the weekend. Thank you so much, and ensure the thank you so much, and ensure the all-time compliance. I always request all people to subscribe this YouTube channel. If you have not subscribed it, please, I request all people to subscribe this YouTube channel. Thank you so much, and ensure all-time compliance. Please remember, even I request that whenever in your company also you marks everywhere that ensure all-time compliance, and this is the only key to be always in a regulatory field, the regulatory compliance field. Thank you so much once again. Now if you have any questions, please put your questions in the comment section. I will respond to your all questions. Thank you so much. And now I am stopping the training session, and please subscribe if you have not subscribed. Please subscribe this YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Right? Thank you once again.